Streamlining first appeared in forms of transportation. It is through modes of mass transit that the style made its greatest impact on the public. The first streamlined train was the Burlington Northern Railroad's Zephyr. It was introduced with much fanfare in 1934 during the second year of the Chicago World's Fair. The Zephyr traveled from Denver to Chicago in a record 14 hours. Most trains took 26 hours to complete that route. The boxy trains of the early 20th century clearly became outmoded during the 1930s. They had been transformed into sweeping, bullet-like vehicles as industrial designers slipped sheathings of aluminum over the unchanged locomotive motors. This new lightweight metal helped increase the speed of the train. Arguably the most famous train to receive the streamlined treatment was New York Central's 20th Century Limited. In 1938, industrial designer Henry Dreyfuss created a dramatic aluminum skin, as well as sophisticated plush interiors to better express the train's status in the modern streamlined era. Long famed for its luxury service and speed, the 20th Century Limited gave rise to the phrase red carpet treatment because of the red carpet rolled out for passengers exiting and boarding the train. The 20th Century Limited also inspired a film by the same name starring John Barrymore and Carole Lombard. The movie's suspense hinged on the train's swift arrival in New York from Chicago. Although streamlined forms didn't actually affect the speed of the train as much as the use of aluminum and improved tracks did, the sleek look was important for public perception and passenger experience. Train travel was a luxurious pleasure during these years. The journey was as important as the destination. In reality, aircraft were the transport vehicles that benefited most from aerodynamic modeling. The first streamlined airships to provide international flights for passengers and mail were Zeppelins. However, as the decade progressed, airplanes became the standard mode of air transportation. The Douglas Commercial, or DC-3 American Airlines flagship, was one of the most successful passenger airplanes in service. It became a benchmark of streamlining when it took off in 1936. Ships were also streamlined for primarily functional reasons, that is, to cut the resistance of wind and water. Industrial designer Norman Bel Geddes designed an aerodynamic ocean liner as early as 1932, whose overall form resembled the shape of a zeppelin. The smokestacks and pilot's bridge were the only protuberances in the otherwise pure teardrop form. The usually awkward lifeboats were concealed in the body and would slide out horizontally as needed. The Bel Geddes ship was the model for this futuristic transoceanic ship, used to advertise the visionary agenda of Bone Aluminum and Brass Corporation in the early 1940s. The designs of mass transit strongly influenced the shape of private motor vehicles. Chrysler's Airflow was the most streamlined American car in 1934. Its unconventional form was based on the results of extensive testing in a wind tunnel. A period advertisement boasted, "Old Mother Nature has always designed her creatures for the function they are to perform. You have only to look at a dolphin, a gull, or a greyhound to appreciate the rightness of the tapering, flowing contour of the new Airflow Chrysler." From motorcycles to the legendary Airstream Clipper travel trailer, aerodynamic principles developed for ships and airplanes were applied to all forms of transportation. Streamlining shaped not only the means of transit from place to place, but also the places themselves. Known as streamlined modern, public architectural projects of the 1930s employed this style from coast to coast. Since the wealthy preferred traditional forms of architecture, streamlined modern was utilized more often for buildings that served a broad American public. For example, the Walgreens pharmacy on the corner, the neighborhood movie theater, or the all-American diner. Streamlining also styled urbane restaurants, especially their bars. The famed restaurant chain Longchamp had several locations in New York, each one decorated around a different theme. The bar in this Longchamp was designed collaboratively by the architect Louis Allen Abramson and the painter Vienold Rice around 1936. Emphatic horizontal banding of the curved bar was echoed in the ceiling and in the tubular steel stools. On the exterior of another restaurant in the chain, the words Longchamp, Restaurant, Café, and Bar glistened in thin metallic letters on a black ground, while a curved marquee and round railings led the customer to the revolving entrance door. New York's beloved Longchamp restaurants have since disappeared, but the distinctive lettering of a former Longchamp remains at Madison Avenue and 49th Street as a souvenir of this streamlined New York landmark. Streamlining was sometimes incorporated into the street-level entrance of tall office buildings. The rest of the building was usually constructed in a functionalist manner, such as in the McGraw-Hill office tower in New York. Located on 42nd Street near 8th Avenue, it was designed by Raymond Hood and J-André Fouillou in 1931. The McGraw-Hill building has been restored today, though its original iconic company logo is gone. According to industrial designers of the 1930s, streamlining was the result of a logical development in vehicles and should just as logically be applied to the built environment to improve the functioning and efficiency of daily life. As Egmont Aaron said, the style expressed this peculiar genius of the American people to be going places and be going there fast.